All right, what is up, guys? It's Chips and Flix back, and today we're going to be doing our spoiler version of Wonder Woman. So if you've not seen it, get your butt over to the movie theater right now and go watch it. Then come back here and watch this review, and we'll discuss the movie. And so, also, we have a non-spoiler review, which is going to be
that will be in the link
below.
in the
And
description.
so Wonder Woman. Basic plot. What's going on here is it starts off with Diana Prince, and she's Amazonian, and they're on the planet Themyscira. And basically, as it shows her starting off from a little child, and she grows up, and then she sort of realizes her power, and that it has a lot of exposition scenes and sort of explains what's going on with the state of the Amazons. And then the pilot, Steve, played by Chris Pine, crashes in, and then they sort of, because they've never seen men before, so they sort of are questioning him, and they figure about the war. They find out about the war, and so eventually Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, goes with him onto the war, into London, and then onto the war, and then because they're trying to stop Ares, because the whole thing is you stop Ares, you stop the war, right? And then along the way, you get a lot of character development. You get a lot of new characters that came in and really make their relationships really grow. And so, talking about the beginning here. The setting of Themyscira, I think, was beautiful. The way they did it, and I feel like the characters and like the whole backstory with Ares, and I think it really like just gave a lot of thought towards,
because it started with her at a younger age at the very beginning, and it showed her, she was a bunch of these women all secluded in one island, and that's where she grew up with. And it was kind of like weird because she was the only baby on the island. She was the only kid, and everybody knew her. And later did we find out that they were put here by Zeus into this island, or because you were saying it's the Themyscira, the world, but because it was like there's like a dome around this place, and they were protected from anything to come in. But little do we know that Chris Pine happens to stumble in here with his plane, and he brings the German army into the place, into their protected space. And I loved how it started like that. I mean, it really gave us a good backstory.
I like the way how the military sort of just came in, and then like you can tell like the shock of the Amazonian people, because they knew Ares was gonna like eventually come, because they said they had feelings.
They've been all preparing for this moment. I mean, they've been fighting and everything like that.
Yeah, and it was just like cool to see them show up, and then that battle on the beach was really cool. I think it was really a lot like I said in our spoiler or non-spoiler, a lot of slow-mo, which I think was cool in the beginning, but it might have been a little
overkill in a way.
Yeah, eventually towards the end, but in the beginning it was really cool. And I like all the women actors did a great job of just really selling the role of like, oh, this is like Ares, this is what we've been sort of like expecting kind of feel. So.
And going back to the location of Themyscira, it's pretty secluded from the real world, but I'm pretty surprised that Steve Trevor was even able to stumble upon it. Like, he'd just stolen plans from the Ottoman Empire.
Well, we don't know exactly where Themyscira is located anyway.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird. Like, his plane had just enough fuel to land there, so how far is the Turkish Empire from there, and how has no one stumbled upon them before?
Yeah, I feel that.
It's deep.
And I feel... so all the Amazonians, including like Robin Wright, who plays one of the main, the one who teaches, who really trains
her aunt.
Diana, great job of really like, just providing a strong role for the, basically the leader. She's sort of passing on the role, because eventually she does die on the beach, right?
Sad moment. So you really see Diana,
and she sort of says, like, hey, it's time.
Yeah.
This is it, right? So then we get taken into. Diana and Steve have a lot of heart-to-heart moments where they're like asking each other stuff, like, what's the watch? What's...
Yeah, she's very
she's very
kind of
confused.
silly.
Yeah, and
not used to the real world yet.
And then obviously they get on the boat, and that boat. Let's talk about the boat scene. That was that was
boat
great.
Scene was funny. I mean, it was good. You could tell that. I mean, the boat was that. I don't know how they had that type of boat there, because I mean, what do they do with the boat?
Well,
do they fish?
They
or
were
what
based off of an ancient Roman civilization, so.
I mean, they had the boats, and When they actually got to London, like in the harbor, you think that boat would be kind of out of the ordinary, but it actually looked like it meant to be there almost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, because I know in World War I they were building better boats and more, you know, I mean, I think
it didn't feel out of place at all, though. I mean,
but I think it should have felt out of place, maybe. I mean, because they could have put this, because I mean,
they had to take what they had, you know.
Well, even Steve Trevor in the beginning, she's like, "You know how to sail, right?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and he was kind of hinting that this is actually very outdated.
Yeah, I like that.
For their time.
Yeah.
But then you get into London, right? And now Steve and Diana sort of switch roles, right? Now Diana's in another world and she doesn't know what's going on. And Steve's sort of like showing her around.
He's the dog sitter.
It reminded me a lot of Elf. You know how Elf, when he gets into New York City, he's like confused, right? And he's just like, you know, eating gum. And Diana's, you know, like just running around, like trying to figure out what's going on.
And very antsy to get to the war. Right off the bat, she's like, "Oh, let's go fight that."
Because that's what she's been, grown up for, is to, you know, defeat, you know, this ultimate god.
Yeah, and so I think, and then we get introduced to the leaders of the British Army, and little did we know one of the leaders would actually turn out to be Ares, right? But this actor did a great job. David Thewlis he played Professor Lupin in Harry Potter. He's a great actor, and I think he did a great job of selling the good guy role a lot. And then
because I had no idea.
Yeah, did you guys see that coming? I personally had no clue.
I mean, we all thought that there wasn't even a god. You know, it was just it was her trying to go fight a god, but she was actually just fighting World War I.
Yeah, the way Steve portrays it, he just sort of like just agrees with her just so he can get home.
Yeah, and he actually supports her. You know, because when we go to the bar scene where Chris Pine is getting all of his you know, people ready to, they're going to go out and try to take out this the German general
Ludendorff.
and the scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where you see him, and he's like, he comes in, he's like, "Here's some money, you know, I want you to do this, you know," and you know, it gave us a boost of confidence from him, like, we can trust this guy, but we can't.
Do you guys think he knew what she was capable of before getting there? Like, do you think he thought she'd be kind of a wimp, or she actually was ready to fight after seeing
Wonder Woman?
After seeing her whole family fight off the Germans? Do you think he knew he was bringing a super weapon into the war?
You're talking about Steve?
Yeah, you think he knew Wonder Woman would be a badass?
Well, he showed a lot of confidence himself, too. I feel like he...
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the times when he gets split up with her, he just sort of feels like, okay, I'll just do it myself. But I think he obviously knew that she was... Because she like, you know how she threw the dude in the bar and, all that?
Oh, yeah. Everyone was a little surprised.
Yeah, but I think that recruitment scene was good. I liked the little gang we had going on. I think they all had different personalities. You know how everyone's sort of, like, obsessed with Wonder Woman, like, oh, like, who's this lady? Like...
What was weird is, like, throughout the film, I mean, like, from the very start, when she realized that she was, you know, a superhero, or she did have superpowers or whatever, I mean, throughout the film, it kept on building, like, she didn't know she could do this, and then she didn't know she could do that, and then it kept on progressing, like, oh, she's stronger than that, and then she's stronger than that,
in the end, she's totally upgraded. And
yeah.
In the end, I mean, it was insane, the ending.
Yeah.
But we'll get there in a second.
And then during this, it sort of cuts back and forth to Ludendorff and Dr. Poison, and it shows, like, you know, them developing this weapon or the gas with hydrogen based or whatever. And I feel like those scenes, like, especially where he's cracking the blue gas or whatever and just sort of sniffing it and becoming sort of...
I didn't like that.
Yeah, what was that? And why did it make his face look frozen?
They never really explained that, and I feel like
that was kind of weird. I mean, you can't just come up with that, and that, you know, I mean, it just came out of nowhere.
I mean, I get they were developing, like...
But, okay, well, if you remember... When she did defeat Ares at the end, or no, she didn't defeat him, but she found out that Ares was the god, or that British higher up was the actual god. He was telling her that he was in, like, the minds of the scientists in general.
So they were sort of just like a front.
Yeah. So she found, like, the scientists found the actual thing where she cracked it, and it was from Ares. Ares gave that to her, to give to him, to make him harder to fight.
So I could see what the purpose of those characters were, but I feel like they could have had a little bit, like, more, like, maybe show, like, a little bit of Ares, like, because we got, as far as we knew in the beginning, it was just them acting by themselves. If we got, like, a little bit, like if, like, they heard, like, a voice or something, or got, like, a little bit of inspiration from Ares, we would have been like, wait, what was that, you know?
Exactly.
And it would have, like, you know, at the end, it would have made sense, like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, Ludendorff was confused as heck when she's like, oh, I'm going to kill you, Ares, and poor guy was kind of confused.
And so we get, so once the recruitment scene's over, and we start going to the war, right, at the front, I like getting up to this no man's land section. You go up to, they're walking up to the war, and you see, like, you know, she's saying like, why are they hurting the horses? Like, there's children crying and everything.
Yeah, and she
People
instantly wanted to go
injured.
help that guy with the broken leg.
Yeah, and
Well, yeah.
I think that was like, it showed Wonder Woman's personality in a good way, and
It's developing her.
yeah. Then Steve sort of telling her, hey, we don't got time for this. You know, we're trying to save them, but we got to do this first.
And it was kind of weird to think about it because, like, for us, we think that, like, war is, like, almost necessary, you know? Like, we grew up and we think that, you know, war is war. But she hasn't even seen war at all in her life, and she's wondering, like, why aren't you helping that person? Why aren't you helping that person? We're like, well, there's so many people. You can't help these people. So it was kind of weird. You kind of, like, take a step back. You're like, man, like, we're not really caring about, you know, as much as we should be caring for. And, you know, she got a really good outlook on, you know, the war, and it was
it sort of provided like a more humane point of view, and I think that was good because obviously I liked her point of view, and
it was very helpful. She didn't see the bigger picture necessarily, but maybe that's the good thing about her.
Yeah, but then she learned, and it's all about her learning what this world's all about.
Her development, exactly.
Yeah, and then that no man's land scene, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie because you just see all the guys in the trench. They're all worried. They've probably been there forever, right? And they're just waiting for something to happen. And she just like, I got this, you know, walks out. And
no, they were there for years, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been stuck in the trench. I mean, they said that Chris Pine said they've been here for years. You know, they haven't even moved an inch.
It's like, this no man's like, you can't go out there because
Yeah.
you're going to get shot by machine guns. And
that was trench warfare.
Her just walking up into no man's land and just taking all the fire and then just advancing all the troops. That was really powerful. And then that scene after, and with the town, I felt like that was even better because her, like, the action shots of her just, like, you know, just messing dudes up in the buildings and, you know, bodies flying out windows. And
I mean, I actually think when she ran into no man's land, I think that was more moving than the city scene because I mean, picture all those men there that haven't moved an inch, I mean, this past year.
They're
and then
dying.
she goes up and they were like looking at her like, oh, she's going to die. Don't even move. I mean, she was taking so many bullets and she was going so far. And nobody even moved for her except, you know, Chris Pine and the two actors with her.
He said that she's taking the fire for us.
They went to go. And then finally, when she went like all the way up into their base, then they started finally moving. So it was really a shock for them.
She like really motivated them and got them to move, which I really enjoyed. Like you hear all them yelling and getting pumped, and it's cool that she was able to trigger that.
Yeah, and then we go into the city, and what I was trying to say is I think like the after effect, because, you know, everyone was all happy in the city. You know, they were
praising her. They were taking pictures.
Yeah, that's in the picture. The picture again in the beginning with the Wayne Enterprises. Like, you were like, oh, that's what that happened. You know,
that picture happens.
And I feel like the scene where they were dancing was really nice, and I think just overall that city scene where she just like was like sort of liberating.
Even got the guy to sing again. What's his name?
Charlie,
yeah.
Yeah, but she, you know, she basically just liberated Stanley. When she took out that sniper, I mean, that was sick.
Yeah,
that dude, like,
crushing.
You're like, oh, Charlie's just gonna shoot him, but then nope, just take out the entire building. Like that got him. You know. But,
okay. I want to talk about why didn't Charlie shoot the sniper when he had a clear shot of him?
Well,
the guy said not everyone's where they always want to be.
More so,
I think.
So what does that mean?
I think his
PTSD.
mental state, because remember he was having like bad dreams the night before and everything.
He's been in the war for a while, and he's probably seen some nasty stuff, so it's probably PTSD for sure.
Yeah, but I think that scene was just really moving, and then obviously the romance carries on with Diana and Steve. So
they're dancing, and I like how she asked him like, "What do you guys do when there is no war?" Because she's been trained and grown up. Like, knowing only wars. So
and then there was a point after that dancing scene where they went up to their room.
Yeah.
And they started kissing. Now, I know we were talking about this earlier, and we were saying that I don't know if they really should have added that in there because, I mean, they kind of like really just met almost. Like they've only been like together for like a week, and I feel like, I mean, at the end when when Chris ended up, Steve, when Steve ended up going up into the plane and shooting the gas inside the plane, and I mean, I think it would have been way more moving if they didn't even get like close at all. Like there's no you know, like sexual contact at all,
or the what could have been. You know,
it
would add more emotion.
I think the audience needed to see though, like they were developing pretty close to each other, and so him doing that, like maybe her being a badass the whole movie had an influence on him for him to even do that. What if he never did it if they didn't get close?
That's what I'm saying. It would have been way more moving if they didn't do that. I mean, because I know if they didn't do it, you'd have been like, oh, it was so close. You know, they were almost together, but they didn't make it. It'd have been moving. But and then again, I believe that everybody needs a little bit of romance in their life.
Yeah, I feel like it was sort of, it would have been, it's meaningful either way. I mean, if there wasn't a scene, if there was, I mean, I think it would have been fine either way. I think the way they did it was perfect, but I would have probably preferred it if it was the other way, but I don't think it really took away from anything. Because the emotion she felt when Steve died was just like,
she raged immediately. She starts yelling, no, and it really grasped my heart.
Yeah.
And see, okay, going to that scene, because I just want to be real with you guys. I know you guys both enjoyed it. I actually didn't like her screaming like that.
Really?
I didn't like it. I mean, she was screaming, but it was like a little like too much of a scream. Like, I don't know if I liked it that much.
Well, that was like her.
I know I'm going to be in the minority here.
You know, it's not at least it's not like Darth Vader. You know, no, it's not like that.
It kind of reminded me of that in a way.
Well, no, she started raging. You know, Darth Vader.
She was raging,
and she started going off.
I liked what happened after she yelled, but during the yelling thing, I found it kind of cheesy. And
that's one thing that confuses me. In Batman versus Superman, they have that big old blob thing, whatever, and like none of them are able to take it down. But in this, she's able to like shoot the lasers and crap at him, like.
Let's just not talk about Batman v Superman. How was that?
Well, I mean,
that movie was, but I know.
For people who are a fan of Wonder Woman, though, that's something that really extends her canon life.
Well, obviously that takes place after this.
Yeah.
So obviously she's going to be more aware of everything.
But that's what I'm saying. Why wasn't she powerful enough to take the thing out then, when she could take out Ares now?
Because it's Doomsday, and it's sort of, he's sort of a beast. But anyway.
Okay.
I think that let's just talk about the ending, because I feel like the ending it was really satisfying just to see how, like, and the whole like I didn't care that Ludendorff died.
Yeah, no, it was satisfying seeing that he died and like he wasn't the main villain. Yeah, I think that was the most satisfying, because it was like I was thinking, like, but he better not be the main villain, because it's kind of stupid. But
I think the Ares twist was really good.
Ares twist was really good.
It was good, but I really don't think that guy fit as Ares. Like,
maybe
physically he's small, he's old, he just.
Well, and that's the thing godlike. Is he. Well, no, did you see when he did his transformation with all like the metal and he grabbed it? That's
he's
when
putting
he was
metal on himself. He's not growing as a person.
Okay, no, well he's God, so he can shapeshift whenever he needs to. I mean,
I guess,
so,
and he was disappearing around.
And that was, I mean, nobody was gonna expect him, being a god. But if you saw this huge lumber guy, you'd be like, oh, that's probably the god.
Yeah. I think overall, the whole scene with he like said, like, oh, look at Dr. Poison, she's an example of what the war does to people, and I was like, just leave her out of it. Like, I don't think she needs to be in here. But I mean, I like the whole she took out Ares, and that was satisfying, and just like and then everyone, like, it showed all the soldiers on both sides, just sort of like hugging it out, like, hey, the war's over. And then
it was cool. It showed their like merciness. Like, they both probably didn't even want to be fighting there. They didn't know what they were fighting for.
And going back to when she was on the ground screaming like that, I feel like that was a realization that, she couldn't save everybody. Like, somebody needed to help her, and when Steve went up into the plane, she because she said, let me do it, because when it went back, when she had her like ears all, she couldn't hear anything, and when he was talking to her, what he was saying, we think what he was saying, because there's a conspiracy theory about that, but what we think what he was saying is, I can save the war, you can save the world. And that was a huge moment.
Yeah, I love the moment where he just said like he loved her and everything. I think that was probably the most emotional part of it, because you just realize, like, and then she just, as she said, like, you realize you can't save everyone, and like you have to let people go sometimes, but like, just his death was so honorable. I feel like it was
sad right
it's
now,
sad that he had to go, but it was so moving that he went. Well, okay, and then going to the very, very end, when she says her last remarks in the film, she talks about love and how love can really conquer all. And how love will always defeat war. And I feel like that was a great way to end it, and I felt good coming out of the theater. I know we all felt good coming out of the theater. But I mean, if you guys want to see our non-spoiler review, that's where we gave our rating for this film. So guys, go check it out. And I mean, this was a great film altogether. We really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a next film review. So see you guys later.